Hey, what's up? Welcome to What Had Happened News. Today we're talking about crime in Chicago. Check this out. Now, as horrific as that scene looks, what if I told you maybe don't believe everything you see? No. This isn't artificial intelligence or somebody doing some kind of crazy Photoshop to make it look like somebody got robbed. That's a real robbery, what it looks like to be a real robbery. But here's what I want to point out. Some things that I immediately know. Look, I ain't nobody's crime scene investigator, and I had some time in the streets, but like I wasn't pulling no heat type jobs or anything like that. So if I sound like I'm talking from some level of expertise, I'm not. This is just observations, all right? But can we look at this video again, like for real? I want anybody with any kind of street sense to wrap themselves around the idea of 4 dudes with guns like that rolling up on one woman. Like, unless she was strapped, unless she was like known heavily strapped, like she was some kind of security agent or something like that, what the fuck are they doing? Also, look how long it takes them. Like, it feels like this is taking way longer than it needs to. There's no way a woman is resisting at all to somebody, to one dude come out with a gun like that. 4 dudes, and it looks like there's a little bit of resistance there, like she's trying not to give up shit. They waving shotguns and she's questioning whether or not she's gonna give up something. Come on, man. That's only in the movies. People up there, people will give you their damn draws if they think they're gonna live. I do know that. You can get somebody draws. You can rob somebody butt naked if they think getting butt naked gonna keep them from getting shot. I promise you that's true. Okay, I know we focus on the amount of time, but even look at like when they wave off the other car and stuff like that. If this is a random brazen robbery spree, right? And they got this woman right here on the street. Okay, let's assume that the car that they're in is stolen too. There's an SUV right there with the dude pointing the shotgun right at the SUV. Why do they not jack that SUV too? If this is a brazen, just random, they're just randomly robbing people, why do they not jack that SUV too? All right, okay. So like, look, I'm not about to get into like barbershop conspiracy shit. I'm gonna show y'all some data, some facts, some information to back up what the fuck I'm about to say, okay?
Shannon Spalding, a former Chicago police officer, helped build a case against the corruption of Sergeant Ronald Watts and his team. Watts and his team would extort money from residents of the south side of Chicago and plant drugs on those who wouldn't pay. They'd also apparently shake down drug dealers and residents of a housing complex. So Shannon Spalding joined the police department back in 1996 and trained with Ronald Watts. Years later, she learned what Watts was doing and she went to her supervisors and the FBI. Her and her partner also filed a lawsuit in 2012 alleging their supervisors told them to disregard the wrongdoing and blackballed them. The lawsuit settled for $2 million and it kept Mayor Rahm Emanuel from testifying in chorus on the police department code of silence, which is a whole other topic, but it would be too much detail to get into this one. Watts was sentenced to 22 months in prison in 2013 after pleading guilty to stealing from someone who turned out to be an FBI informant. Spalding and her partner naturally received some retaliation, and there was plenty of examples, but I'm gonna give you one example right here where Spalding recalls a supervisor telling her, quote, "You're not getting back up. The team is not gonna back you up. You guys want to put supervisors in jail? I hate to be the one to knock on your door and tell your daughter you're coming home in a box."
Let me say this first. Cats that's going out on sprees that's robbing people, they don't rob people like this. They don't rob people on the corner, in the middle of a well-lit corner with all that shit. There's all different type of places you can rob that lady. There's other ways you can rob that lady. They don't need that much firepower, and they wouldn't have to do it with that much time in that spot. That was done so people would see it, so it would make the news so people would see it. Secondly, we've actually seen real crime sprees before. We've reported on it on this show, okay? When it's a real crime spree, when that SUV pulled up and like was kind of looking like, I don't know if they were trying to intervene or like what's going on there or whatever they were doing, when dude had to wave the shotty at him to keep going, that's a victim. That's a victim. I got enough street in me to know that's a motherfucking victim. All right? You want to be nosy? You want to see what's going on? I'm going to show you what's going on. Give me your shit. That's how that goes. And this is the third, and this is where I will speak somewhat expertly about this particular robbery. this particular scene. Why I am certain what I'm about to allege in this next thing is probably true. I'm still going to throw a ledge up there, you know what I'm saying, for legal purposes. But this is why I believe what I'm saying. I'm at this corner all the fucking time. I'm at this spot, 1589 Milwaukee Avenue. I am there at least 3 or 4 times a week, okay? There's a comedy club that I frequent, that I work at a lot, that I just go there for open mics, that I just go to hang out at. And I'm not saying because I go there, it's safe. The reason why I'm telling you that particular corner is because it is insanely, constantly populated with police all the time. There's a fucking police, a police, I don't know what they call it. It's like a bot thing where it has like cameras and shit behind Walgreens right there. And there's cops literally patrolling that area all the time at night, nonstop. I smoke weed all the time in my car before I go into the club or whatever, and I do it in a private parking lot to avoid the fucking cops because they're constantly up and down that street. So the idea that anybody who was on a crime spree would pick that fucking block to rob somebody is fucking absurd. Nobody who lives in Chicago would pick that fucking area. That area is highly populated. There's constant venues, restaurants, people hang out and walk through that area all the time. There is no way anybody would choose that area to do that type of blazing robbery with that level of police support and that level of populace. Plus there's fucking cameras and it's well lit. It's just a stupid bad place to pick the robbery. And if you think that they're just brazen, they're wild, they don't care. They care. Contrary to the narrative that they portray, ain't nobody trying to go to jail, y'all. Ain't nobody motherfuckers care enough that they not trying to get locked up. They're trying to get away with this shit. Okay? They're trying to get away with it, y'all. So if somebody's trying to get away with it, why would they do all the things like this? Literally, if I was trying to teach motherfuckers how to jack people, I could play this video and say, hey, this is all the shit you don't want to do when you're trying to jack somebody because you're probably going to get caught. The attention alone that jacking somebody at that corner would bring is going to bring heat on the entire area and heat to try to find who the fuck did this. Only somebody who wanted that attention would do that. And here's where my evidence comes in. Check this shit out. I'm gonna let it roll for a minute. I'm just gonna pop back in and go and look at this and so forth. Here we go.
Why do you think that Chicago has become America's largest outdoor shooting range?
So Mississippi, Louisiana, and Missouri actually have higher firearm death rates. Obviously, there's certain...
What about Chicago?
So I don't live in Chicago. It's not my primary area of research.
You don't have an opinion on that?
I think
the Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability wants an official investigation into allegations involving Chicago police officers and an extremist group. The Sun-Times reports the panel has recommended the city's inspector general investigate officers who were named on an Oath Keepers list. It's tied to a recent WEZ, a Sun-Times report as well. It's been revealed there are 27 officers linked to the group. Earlier this week, Superintendent Larry Snelling vowed to investigate and root out officers with extremist ties. The Bureau of Internal Affairs says their internal investigation would be completed in less than 6 months.
Dark period in Chicago police history. It's believed that one bad cop preyed.
Y'all notice how she put the emphasis on one bad cop? Y'all see how they be reporting y'all? Trying to emphasize that shit. How do they know it's one bad cop? This nigga had a team. He had a whole team working with him. It was not one bad cop.
Preyed on innocent residents of a housing project, rounding up dozens of people on bogus charges. And now efforts are underway to exonerate them. Dean Reynolds has that story.
An empty lot now marks the spot of one of the worst Chicago police scandals in history. Once the Ida B. Wells housing project, it was where a group of corrupt Chicago cops preyed almost risk-free on residents for most of a decade. Sergeant Ronald Watts was the ringleader. Residents accused him and his squad of extortion, filing false police reports, planting evidence, and assault.
You didn't cooperate with him, you was going down. You was against him. You was against his operation and his way of getting money. I was terrified. I was trying to get away, get out that neighborhood. I didn't know where to go.
Willie Martin and Cleon Glover are 2 of 42 wrongly convicted people exonerated so far by State's Attorney Kim Foxx.
We have to admit when things have gone wrong and actively work to fix it.
Lawyers from Fox's Conviction Integrity Unit are reviewing 30 to 40 additional cases connected to Watts.
Did the people in the neighborhood, did they complain about this?
Yeah, everybody spoke up. A lot of people spoke up.
He's a sergeant with a badge. He has his own gang, so who will believe us?
Joshua Tepfer of the University of Chicago's Exoneration Project says the answer until recently was no one.
And they let it go on because they viewed these people as disposable, and they didn't care. These are black people in the housing projects who, in their minds, were guilty of something anyway.
Probably guilty of something.
Sergeant Watts was sentenced to 22 months for trying to steal from an FBI informant.
Anybody that know Watts, he's not reading your rights.
And Martez Wise went to prison too because of Watts.
During that time, I just had my son. I was away from him for 4 years. He barely even knew who I was because he was just born. So
had to rebond with him.
4 years taken away for nothing. For CBS This Morning Saturday, Dean Reynolds, Chicago.
Keep going.
On May 31st, 2023, at approximately 7:15 p.m., an off-duty Chicago PD officer named Quan Spencer pulled up to a dumpster blocking an alleyway on West Maypole while driving his personal vehicle. The investigation indicates that preliminary information received on the scene indicated that after moving the dumpster, Officer Spencer was fired upon, prompting him to run back to his vehicle and return fire. However, third-party footage shows a different story entirely. A separate angle, which shows the officer in the top right corner, appears to show the officer discharging his firearm prior to being shot at. As soon as the officer fires the initial shot, multiple individuals scurry to cover, and they have no way to know he is an off-duty police officer. 2 individuals begin to return fire in the direction of the officer. After a total of 20 shots are fired, the officer retreats to his vehicle, but then drives in the direction of those who shot at him. This prompts a subsequent shootout. In a press release published a month later, COPA stated that, after further review of third-party video, it is unclear, and has not yet been determined, that the officer was fired upon first. A 911 call, placed by Officer Spencer minutes after the shooting, offers some insight into what transpired.
Hey, what's up? I'm a police officer. I just got shot. What's the location? The location is Maypole and Levitt. It's block west. I'm not sure.
Stay on the line, sir. Hold on.
What's up?
Hello, fire department.
Hey, how you guys doing? Hey, they shot me. I think they bounced off. I don't think I'm hit, but I don't think it bounced into me.
All right, where are you at?
But I'm on Levitt and Maypole. I don't know if I'm going to call 10-1 or not, but they shot my truck and they shot me.
I'm sorry, are you a PO officer?
I'm a PO. My start number is one.
We got him on the way.
My start number is 1568, and they shot me up, and they're like a block west of Levitt.
Okay, listen, we got him on the way. Levitt and Maypole, okay?
Yeah, I'm off duty. I just drove away. They shot up my truck.
All right, we're on the way.
Location, please.
Yeah, they got him on the way.
A block west of Levitt on Maypole is where they're at.
Okay, we got him on the way, okay?
Okay, thank you, brother.
Hello?
Hey.
Hello, can you hear me?
So they shot me in my arm, so...
Okay.
So I think it bounced off, so I think I'm going to go to the hospital, but...
Okay, well, they're already coming, sir, so just be looking out for them.
Okay, I hear them coming.
Okay. And you shot your arm, right?
Yeah, I was shot my arm.
Do you know who shot you?
It's 20 or 10 black, or not, I shouldn't say black, I should say 20 male blacks that are sitting in that corner, and they keep shutting down the system, and I rolled through and they shot me up.
Okay.
They shot my car up, they shot me up.
The case is being investigated by the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, which is independent of the Chicago Police Department and has separate investigative powers. As of the time of publication, COPA is still evaluating factors involved in the case prior to producing a final report. By law, Chicago police officers cannot serve on the Civilian Office of Police Accountability.
So I've been building to it this whole time. I'm not just showing you all this shit just for the randomness. I'm trying to tell you, it's fucking cops doing this shit, son. It's the popo. They mad they boy didn't win. They don't like liberal progressive politics, especially because Brandon Johnson ran on a program that was presented as anti-police, even though his program was actually looking to add more money to the police budget and to do police programs and to pay these motherfuckers more money. But it wasn't the type of way they wanted to do shit, so they branded him anti-police, and they've been out to get him ever since. Don't believe me? You ain't gotta believe me. Look at what the fucking the head of the head of the Fraternal Order of Police in Chicago. Look at what he said. This nigga's crazy. And if you think Republicans will storm the Capitol of the United States, and I just showed you a video of of cops rolling, shooting, and framing people, and doing all this other stuff in Chicago, you don't think they'd stage robberies in front of cameras in highly trafficked places, highly populated places where people hang out and go all the time, to scare the fuck out of Chicagoans, to make them think Mayor Johnson's not working? That don't make sense to you? That don't make more sense to you than a place somebody getting robbed at that hasn't happened in probably a decade like that? That area used to be rough, and commerce came, and gentrification and all the other shit that goes with it. There's a comedy club like a block away from there that's packed almost every fucking night. There's a concert hall at a block away from there, across the street from the comedy club, that's packed every weekend with people. There's restaurants, a confection place. There are places all around that area, up and down that block, Milwaukee Avenue right there. And there's constant cops at night. So for them to have a whole minute, the runtime of that was 46 seconds, I think, from the time they get out of the car to the time they pull off. And I know it's like 46 seconds. Like, so, if you were over there, you would know 46 seconds with a gun out. And people driving by. So people are obviously probably calling 911 or whatever. You don't think the person in the white truck called 911? And you don't even see a cop come into the video. And I'm telling you, there's a cop within probably a block or two of that area, I promise you, at all times.
The bosses ordered my fellow officers not to work with me, not to back me up on the street, even if my life depended on it. My bosses made threats against me. One told me, "I'd hate to tell your daughter you're coming home in a box," referring to the grave danger I was in. The retaliation from inside my own department was so severe, I did not even feel human anymore. I was banned from the lockers, from the shower, and even denied access to the police bathrooms. A boss told me once, and I quote, that I could piss outside with the rest of the rats.
That's today's episode. Feel free to tell us what you think. Please leave comments down below if you're on the YouTube page or the Facebook page. Give us comments, likes, shares, follows, snaps, TikToks, whatever TikToks are. Do all the things, man. You know what we're trying to do. We're trying to make this work. You know what I'm saying? And all that love you give us, that's how, the algorithm knows we cool. You know how this works.